What key life experiences have formed who you are today?
I'd have to say just family experience. My dad is an architect. And so growing up around that, when he'd come back from work when I was young, I'd be like, what did you do today? And we'd have like those conversations. My first real work experience was in his office. It's interesting kind of learning a lot about the professional world through a family member and having that relationship. That's kind of what got me on the track of where I am now.
How did you become passionate and involved in your practice?
Obviously having my dad as an architect is huge, but I wouldn't say that that's the only reason that I got into this field. I've always kind of had a creative side, and that would express itself in different avenues. Architecture for me is really interesting. You have this intersection between science, technology, engineering, art, math, and all these things kind of come together. And there's a really nice kind of philosophical twist in there as well, when dealing with designs and how they should kind of speak to people and speak to projects.
What would you say your core values are and how are they reflected in your practice?
I'd say, I mean, for me, it's just about being a good person. Having an open mind and just like accepting everyone is super big. And then within the practice, there's certain things just kind of following the, established guideline that nature has started.
Yeah.
So I think that is one of the driving points that I like to bring in to a lot of projects.
How would you describe your design process?
It's very iterative. What I like to do is just kind of start with what's important concept wise, and then you kind of lay out all the parameters that you have. And then from that, you kind of just start with general massings, make sure that kind of follows the narrative that you set for yourself. And then from that, you just keep refining and iterating, and then just throw it out of the wall, see if it sticks, and just keep, just hammering away at that process throughout all of school and in the professional world. That's what I've been doing. Even if like an idea is absurd, I still just like to try it and just be like, you never know. Something could come from that could inspire something else to lead you down that path of like a finished product.
And then how do you collaborate with other individuals to realize your impactful work?
I love collaborating with people because if it's just me working on a project, it's kind of, I mean, literally one sided where you just have like my frame of reference and what I think put into a project. But when you have other people to collaborate with, then you get, I don't know, the collaboration brings out the best in people, I think, if you kind of utilize it in a really helpful and meaningful way. So just kind of getting everyone's perspectives is super big. And then especially when you apply it towards a project, you can really get some really cool results.
What direction would you say that design is going?
We kind of talked about it, the biomimicry aspect. That's a really big architectural idea that we at Krause have been investigating a lot. And then supplementing that with data and just making sure that what we are proposing actually works, because that's the whole nother aspect of it. And so I think that's kind of like the main idea and concept that we like to bring into it. And we have a couple projects right now in place that are kind of utilizing that.
What are the biggest challenges you face in the profession?
I mean, personally, I'm still young, so I don't know a lot. Like, you go through school and you learn all this knowledge about design processes, and you really push the conceptual side of being a designer, whether it's architecture, interior design, anything. And then when you get into the field, it's applying that knowledge and like understanding all the tectonics and stuff that goes into a project is, for me, it's like kind of overwhelming in a sense. There's so much information out there to learn, especially within a building. So I think that's definitely the biggest challenge I've had so far.
What advice would you give to a young student like me?
Just keep pushing and really challenge yourself and what design can do for people, can do for the world, can do for the environment. Like I always just like to push the limits of everything you could do. And I think it's super important because if you get complacent and lazy and you don't like have that drive to continue to push, then you're kind of selling yourself short. And so really just kind of taking hold of that responsibility and understanding that if you push something to like a really far limit, something great can come out on the other side of that. So honestly, like it's really cliche, but like seriously, just keep pushing, believe in yourself, never give up. That's what I would tell myself if I was talking to my younger self.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.